Boop. Happy Wednesday. Today is Wednesday, February the 10th, 2021, and today's daily Bible readings come to us from Psalm 102, 12 through 28, Job 6, 1 through 13, and then Mark 3, 7 through 12. And I'm going to take a look at Job because this has just been kind of a Job sort of year. And I'm not just talking about 2021 so far. It's had its own unique specialness, but this past year of pandemic life, because we're coming up on March, we're coming up actually on Lent, and we started doing the DBRs right when the shutdown happened around, I think, a fifth week of Lent. So that was about, I think, March 23rd last year. And so we're coming up on a year of doing these consecutively. So it just was, I was reading the passages today and I thought, well, Job kind of nails it, how we've all experienced this year. Job starts off talking about the weight of sand. He says, he's talking about all his problems. He calls them his vexations in this translation, which is the New Revised Standard Version that I was reading from. And he says, all these troubles, all these calamities, all these vexations I faced, if you could just weigh them, he said it would be like weighing all the sand in the sea. And that's kind of an interesting perspective on it and on problems in general. Often things don't come all at once, right? It's not often that you have these problems in life that they're just one big problem that pounces on you like a gorilla on your back and just crushes you. No, it's kind of like he says, it's like the sand in the sea, or the sand on the sea. That's hard to say. Sand on the seashore. They're not, any one of them is not terribly heavy, but there's this kind of amazing thing that happens when you get a lot of sand together in one place. It gets really, really heavy really quickly. And that's kind of the way troubles run, isn't it? Often things don't come up all at once. They just slowly build up over time. You can go to the beach and have sand stick to you and you don't even know it. But if somebody piles a bunch of sand on you, it's really uncomfortable. Each problem may not seem so huge or insurmountable in itself, but it's the sheer number of them that feels so crushing, isn't it? And so Job now gets to this final consolation. And keep in mind, this is very early in the book of Job. This is still early enough where we've just kind of been finally made aware of what's going on. The scene has been set right. And his friends haven't really started helping him yet with all their free advice. And Job he's here saying that, he's seeking consolation. Job knows that he's near his breaking point at this. He knows that all these little grains of sand have built up and are kind of weighing him down, and he can't really carry it very much longer. But he's refused to take the advice of others. Because if you remember, his wife even told him, like, he had friends, and his wife herself even says, you know what, Job, just curse God and get it over with. Just blame this all on God. Curse him, like a dog, and he'll kill you, and then you won't suffer anymore, which is kind of a short-sighted perception. But he's refused to take that advice and speak out against God, or to even call God unjust. And he also refuses to take the blame for things, and that sets the rest of the stage for this. And that's another important thing too. Yeah, sometimes the burden we bear is our own fault. We suffer a lot because of our own stupidity, right? But the writer here has been very, very careful to explain to you that Job did nothing to deserve this. He just happened to be noticed by the wrong people, right? So to speak. And he refuses to take blame for this. He refuses to say, yeah, I did something horrible. That's why God's punishing me. And that's kind of sets the stage for the whole rest of the book of Job, because his friends are like, nuh-uh, you stink. You obviously did something bad, Job. You should just accept blame for it. I don't know why I started talking like a mean girl. Anyway, but he refuses to take the blame for this. But he also, like I said, he knows he's at his breaking point. He knows he's at his physical and emotional limits right now. And he says if God's going to do something, he needs to do it soon. And it's pretty dark what Job's talking about. I mean, Job's a dark book. Go read it on a sunny day. But he says, if God's going to crush me and take me out of this world, he needs to do it soon. so that my one consolation in all this will be that I never spoke against his holy word, that I never spoke against the holy God, right? If God's going to do something, if he's going to act, he needs to do it soon. And that's another pretty honest thing. When the weight of all those problems build up, we get to those points where we're like, if something's going to give, it's got to give now. And, maybe we should look at Job for, the honesty of that and say, maybe we need to be more honest with God. Because I think a lot of us, we don't care to admit that we probably need the help and that it's just getting too much for us. And Job's like, no, if God, you need to do something now. Because Job knows that his strength is not limitless. He knows that his patience is not sufficient, that he's quickly running out of patience for all this. And you see that later when he just gets into it with his quote unquote friends. He knows that his flesh is weak. And he knows that his resources, his personal resources are limited. He says that. He's like, what do I have? He says, I have no help in me. In truth, I have no help in me, and any resource is driven from me. And he's like, I have no way out of this. Everything's been taken from me. And he is honest enough to say that his hope is in God alone. So, there's been a lot of sand kicked around over the past year, and it's okay if you kind of feel like Job. And you're probably in a better space to admit that you have limited resources and that you are not strong on your own, and to say to God, if you're going to do something, you got to do it soon. So anyway, that's the DBR. Get out, have a nice day. It's beautiful weather here in Chattanooga. I don't know about where you live, but get out and enjoy it while you can, because it's a uniquely springy February day. Anyway, we'll be back tomorrow with another DBR. Boop.